President Muhammadu Buhari says the PDP still owes Nigerians explanation on how it spent the monies and resources that accrued to the nation from the sales of oil between 1999 and 2014. The army has denied accusations that it was biased and political during the last phase of the election. The Chief of Army Staff says the accusation is far from the truth. Hello everyone and welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimbalo in Lagos. Today is the last day. It's going to be a fast-paced program and one that you cannot miss. Get a seat everyone and let's get talking. Today is the last day for all the political campaigns and all sort of partisan conversations ahead of the Saturday elections. Grab a seat everyone. Like I said, let's kick off the program tonight with a statement of President Muhammadu Buhari saying the People's Democratic Party, PDP, still owes Nigerians explanation on how it spent the resources of the nation that accrued to the country from oil sales between 1999 and 2014. The president was speaking to labor leaders when the leadership of the organized labor went to felicitate with him on his electoral victory. The president said the PDP has not successfully explained to the country what they did with the money.
Been able to successfully explain to this country what they did with that money. Because some of the roads, especially the main ones, from here to Onitsha, from here to Port Harcourt, since PTF days, not to talk of new ones. You knew it, the rail was virtually killed. And the power, where was the power? I asked the question.
Well, we're getting somewhere because that is going to be a background to our conversation tonight with my guest. The Nigerian military also says that it is not partisan. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, says accusations in some quarters that the army had interfered in the February 23rd presidential elections and also plans to do so in the next Saturday election is far from the truth. Lieutenant General Buratai made the remark while receiving a delegation of the European Union observation mission in Abuja. He said only those who will benefit from insecurity during elections are crying foul against the military. Buratai says the military remains apolitical and is only on standby on the invitation of the Nigerian police and other internal security agencies. Today is the last day of campaign, so you might not be hearing politicians on your street any longer on their jingles on television and radio. Let's tell you about some of the things they've been saying the last day of campaign in our political roundup.
Following an Owerri Federal High Court judgment restraining INEC and Social Democratic Party SDP from recognizing Mr. Oke-Eze as the governorship candidate in Imo State, Mr. Oke-Eze has dismissed rumors making rounds in the state that he is no longer the governorship candidate of the SDP. He maintains that he remains the authentic and only governorship candidate of the party in the state, having filed a stay of execution proceedings in the appeal court in Owerri. Addressing newsmen in Owerri, the Imo State capital, the embattled governorship candidate of the Social Democratic Party says having appealed the case, he remains the governorship candidate of the party pending the determination of the motion on notice.
So what it means is that at this moment, Oke-Eze still remains the undisputed candidate of the Social Democratic Party.
Ahead of Saturday's governorship and state assembly elections, the Civil Society Situation Room and the Center for Democracy and Development are asking the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to correct all anomalies that trailed the presidential elections in order to make the state's elections more credible. The groups decry heavy deployment of military to some states ahead of the exercise, insisting that INEC and all relevant authorities must ensure that security agencies work within the stipulated legal framework.
We need to go back to the drawing table to ask ourselves how to conduct elections without the partisan involvement and interference in the electoral process by the military.
The Nasarawa State PDP candidate David Obungadu, who is a federal representative for Wamba, Akwanga and Nasarawa Egon, says is confident of winning at the Saturday polls. Speaking to journalists in Lafia, he cites his track records as a lawmaker as the edge he has over his contenders.
I have every optimism that I will return as the governor of Nasarawa State.
The governorship candidate of the Labour Party in Kwara State, Mr. Issa Remu, has directed his members and supporters to vote for the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Abdul Rahman Abdul-Razak, for the development of the state.
That doesn't mean we are in APC. No, we retain our identity. We are doing this as partners.
The Sikirulai Ogundele faction of the Ogun State chapter of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, has adopted the governorship candidate of the Allied People's Movement as its governorship candidate and has directed its supporters to follow suit. This development was communicated by the factional chairman after a closed-door meeting with officials and supporters of the Allied People's Movement in the state capital.
Let's get started. Before the elections, the PDP and the APC were confident that they were going to win. PDP said they would beat APC silly. The APC said they would teach PDP a lesson of their lives. After the elections, the PDP says it will challenge the outcome in court. The APC says it will meet them there. So the narrative continues on the battle for supremacy in the Nigerian politics. The PDP is alleging the use of the military to rig elections and intimidation of their members and voters. On Saturday, another election beckons. How will it all pan out? They always say when the national elections come before the local election, it's usually winner takes all. Will it be the same? Will PDP retain some of the states that it currently has? Will APC spread more than 22 states that it currently controls? I have joining me an interesting panel tonight. Mr. Segun Showmi is the spokesperson of the PDP Presidential Campaign Organization. And from Abuja studio is a lawyer, a member of the APC. Mr. Daniel Bwala is also the spokesperson of the APC Presidential Campaign for Youth and Women. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you, Sean.
When the APC said they were going to beat your party were quite confident. I mean, your party was quite confident that you were going to win this election. On Saturday, what is the hope for your party?
This coming Saturday or the last?
No, the coming Saturday.
I think we should better talk about yesterday before we can talk about tomorrow. First things first, we reject that election totally. We're extremely disappointed that an illegitimate government is maybe going to be foisted on Nigeria momentarily, pending when we get our verdict back from the court. Why do we say we don't accept it? It doesn't meet the minimum standard. Elections seems like a difficult to predict event, but it's not really that difficult to predict. There is consistency in the way the voting pattern of the people are. The turnout of people per different election over the last 3 cycles is consistent. There are strongholds of each of the parties. And what you have seen happen on Saturday last is that those who are in charge of our country now, who have come into power as a result of civilian democracy passing authority from one democratic government of Jonathan or PDP to them, have totally imagined that we're now in a civilian dictatorship. Where are the telltale signs? You saw what happened in Lagos. Igbos were attacked in the place they lived, done business, done commerce, all of their life because they wanted to vote. You saw what happened in Rivers. You saw what happened in Bayelsa. You are aware of what happened in Delta. You know what happened in Benue. Almost everywhere you turn in the country. You saw what happened in Borno. There was a bomb blast a couple of hours before, and suddenly they are getting turned out. You saw what happened in Gombe. Who can agree to that joke of the case states?
I respect your experience as a politician, Mr. Showmi. Are you saying that the result they filed what could have happened on the political field? Are you saying your party lost where you never thought it was going to lose?
No. I'm saying that no election took place in the real sense of the word. Some people just sat down in one place, concocted numbers and allocated to themselves. They couldn't even man up to add it well. They did it in such a hurry. Up till now, INEC is not able to put up the result really. They can't upload it on their database. They can't provide the evidence of what happened more than almost 2 weeks after the election.
So you're saying the election is
No,
rigged or what?
I think that the only reasonable thing that any decent set of judges can rule is an annulment of the entire charade. No one...
Are you saying, Mr.
democracy...
I mean, the word to use in an election, I mean, in a process like this, is whether or not the election is free or fair, and fair, or the election is rigged. What exactly are you saying?
I am saying a joke took place. I'm saying it was rigged. I'm saying it was a heist. I'm saying they stole the mandate. I'm saying they disenfranchised the people. I'm saying they suppressed the vote.
What about the places you won?
Listen.
What about the places you won?
Don't you understand?
Did they rig in those places?
Don't you understand how a clever crook goes about things? A clever crook will try to suppress numbers where you are popular and then let Armageddon reign where it's popular. A clever crook will be working to a determined answer and come up with figures that even the umpire cannot justify. Look, we're 2 weeks into the election past, and right now no one can tell you precisely whether they can go to INEC board and even find the result. So they collated results, they didn't even add up. In one breath, they said they had 84 million votes. In another breath, they have 83. In one breath, they're looking for 1.something million votes missing. It's just a... Look. You see, the danger in a democracy is that the legitimacy of a democratic government is derived from free, fair, transparent, and credible election. No one is incapable of accepting defeat here. That's not the point. But it has to meet the minimum standard. And don't listen to what is being bandied. It doesn't make sense that the turnout in peaceful area is lower than the turnout in areas that are destabilized.
All right. Let's get the other side of the conversation. Mr. Buala, you are a lawyer. The PDP has gone to court, and Mr. Showomi here is telling us that the election was rigged and that it defied all sensibility that your party could have won that election. What are your thoughts?
Well, right, Nigerians knew right off the cuff that PDP is like Mavromudia movement, MMM, giving the appearance of hope, but embedded and inherent in their very characteristics is the demonstration of corruption, corrupt practices, manipulation. The reason why you are hearing PDP crying very loud on top of the roof is because this is the first time PDP is facing the realities of election. From 1999 right up to 2015, they never had election. If you emerge as the ticket bearer of a party, you are an automatic winner. Because from 1999 up until 2015, you will see in a polling unit, people are queued up, and you will hear the result of that place already announced. So now that they are facing election as an opposition, where they do not have the machinery of the state to now wield the issue of intimidation, vote buying, rigging, and all of these their characteristics, then they started crying foul. But let me tell you this, soon, I want Nigerians to hear. They came up with three-pronged strategy. Strategy number one, they said, get the attention of the international community. And so Atiku came up and now said, I'm going to privatize NNPC. As soon as he did that, European Union, all of this international body began to pick interest in Nigeria because everyone knows the politics of the world. International politics is oil. So he got the chance to travel to America, and he came back. But for the first time in Nigeria's history, it is proved even to the international community you can win election without their influence. Their strategy number two, foment violence around the nooks and crannies of the city. And the president knew and understood. So he ordered the army, anybody that uses talks, then he is doing that illegal act for the last time. So they couldn't get to use their talks at that moment. They now switched to strategy number three, discredit the outcome of the election. And they thought, having won some sort of the attention of the international community, if they condemn the election, these guys are going to toe on their part. Unfortunately for them, 100% of the international community and observers congratulated Nigerians and the election, as they said this is largely the most credible in Nigeria's history since 1999. So having lost in all, they are now deploying the Mourinho tactics. And how is the Mourinho tactics applied? Where you win, it is fair and credible. Where you lost, there was rigging, which is what you are seeing and what they will try to do in the coming days. Now, moving to court, let me tell you this, Shehu.
Just a moment. Before you go to that, hold on. Hold on, Mr. Buala. Hold on. Before you go into the issues of the court, we need to take a breather. It's getting hot in here. We need to take a breather. And when we come back, the issues of what the PDP will be saying in court. The court has granted them the access to check some of these documents. I'm not sure they are able to use forensic on those documents. What is going to become of that? And the Saturday election, who wins in some of these strong states? That's when we're going to. Welcome back, everyone. It's prime time in Nigeria's politics on television right now, and every second counts. Let's get back to the conversation quickly, everyone. I have been speaking with Mr. Segun Shonwumi. He's a spokesperson of the PDP Presidential Campaign Organization. And from our Abuja studio, he's a lawyer and a member of the APC, also the spokesperson of APC Presidential Campaign for Youth and Women, Daniel Bwala. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I'd like you to quickly respond to what Mr. Bwala said. We don't have the time, so we need to be able to put as much out in the few seconds that we have.
I don't think my friend Dan said anything. He's talking about strategy. Was he there when we were planning it? Look, what we're talking about is simple. In 2014, just before the 2015 election, the APC had gone to court to say and to insist that they wouldn't have the military participate in the election. And it was ruled in their favor, both the Court of Appeal and the State High Court in Lagos. And at the end of the day, they've gotten power. A diplomat, a gentleman has handed over power to them. They've taken the reins of power. What have they been doing with it? Even for the purpose of narrowing it down to election and the issues and attitude around elections, when they are not hounding our followers, they are hounding our supporters. When they are not hounding our supporters, they are hounding our presidential candidate. When they are not arresting his family member, they are arresting his director of legal. When they are not arresting director of legal, they are arresting his lawyer. They are basically just trying to put the whole country into a civilian dictatorship. And you know the danger there? The danger there is that they are calling the military to participate excessively too much in what ordinarily needs to be a matter for the police and for civil authority. And made worse was that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, actually instructed that the citizens should be killed in cold murder without trial for things or offenses that could have been done in court. Look, but we're all going to have to smell the coffee at some point in time. We can play the ostrich all we want. We can claim that they won it fair and square, but we know they didn't. The courts are going to show that they didn't. The conversation in the open court is going to throw up all of these issues. But we ask, is it realistic for people to continually elect incompetent, corrupt, extremely corrupt, institutional corruption and excessive nepotism into government? That is not consistent with how human beings behave. Yeah, people would have ordinarily voted them out. We're gradually
winding up now. Let me allow. Yes, we are. Time is gone. Mr. Bwala, your response quickly on some of these issues that you raised. We have less than a minute.
Well, right. So, you know, the first one is that he said that I wasn't there when they strategized their plan. You don't have to be in PDP's meeting to know. You know, deception has a lifespan. And it's now obvious even to somebody in primary 5 who can understand the movement of PDP. So it's easy to know that. Secondly, he talked about the military. Let me clarify something. You see, there is a misconception about the role that the military or, in fact, any law enforcement agent or agencies are playing in the election. The decision of the Supreme Court, you combine it with the provision of the Electoral Act, only speaks of the circumference of the polling unit. You won't see the military arranging the people. You won't see the military leading the people to vote. The military maintain a distance. Anywhere in the world, the army can maintain a distance from the polling unit and the activities of election.
All right, Mr. Bwala, we need to go now. We are obviously out of time. Thank you so much, Mr. Bwala, for coming. Mr. Segun Shonwumi, it's a pleasure to have you come around. We'll definitely, too short. Yeah, thank you so much. It's a pleasure having you talk about this. But that's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. Bye-bye.